The early 2000s were a very different time for video games. A lot of creativity and wild thinking helped lay the foundation for many big series we see so often today. It was also here we saw the beginning of a series that would be one of the final swan songs to the PlayStation 2 era. At least, that's how I feel, since the PS2 was actually still around until 2013, but the quality of games diminished by the time it came to an end. God of War was released in 2005 by Sony Santa Monica and was directed and created by David Jaffe. It was an action game set in ancient times, which is loosely based on Greek mythology, but with an over-the-top twist. To say that this game is epic would be a massive understatement, both in its scope and sheer exaggeration of everything that happens. You control Kratos, a Spartan soldier who is cursed and made to serve Ares, the god of war. But after being fooled by Ares to murder his family, Kratos seeks vengeance. Aided by the goddess Athena and guided by the other Olympians, Kratos embarks on a quest to destroy Ares and find penance for his past. When I say that this game is loosely based on Greek mythology, I wholeheartedly mean loose. Many mythological creatures and aspects of Greek myth are implemented in clever and very cool ways. But are they enough to stop you from seeking revenge against a god of Olympus? And does it all come together for what some consider to be one of the best games on the PlayStation 2? Since God of War came out in the 2000s, many action games that followed have tried to emulate or borrow ideas from its combat. And it's for good reason, because it's very solid. Controlling Kratos is simple, with many actions and attacks being done on the face and shoulder buttons of the controller. A lot of the time you'll be fighting groups of enemies or giant baddies looking to take your head off. Unfortunately for them, Kratos has the Blades of Chaos and many other magical attacks that are both devastating and super cool to look at. I love how the Blades of Chaos flow on screen as you slash at everything around you, but can also be chained together with other weapon attacks and grabs. This is also the game that made QuickTime events so common, with button inputs showing up on screen and giving you a chance to do even more attacks to enemies. Things are straight up brutal and don't shy away from the most vicious moments in combat. This is ancient Greece after all. What I find cool is how grabbing enemies lets you do a variety of different finishers and follow-ups that lead to a lot of damage, as well as some helpful bonus drops from orbs that heal you and boost up your magic. It's the boss fights that I feel that steal the show, however, with their insane moments. You'll fight giant monsters and other horrors that give new meaning to the term epic battles in more ways than one. But this brings me to the other side of God of War, the exploration and the puzzles. This is the parts of the game that many people shy away from or seem to forget, and honestly, it's because it's not as great as everything else. Don't get me wrong, the visuals are fantastic for a PS2 game, and the environments are truly amazing with their sense of scale, but remember those puzzles and obstacles? Yeah, that's my biggest problem with God of War. I find these to be super annoying. The bulk of them aren't difficult, but they are super tedious and can take up way too much time to complete. It totally hits the brakes on the pacing of the game and will really frustrate anyone without the help of a guide, or at least a ton of patience. In my game, there were a few moments where I was raging at my TV because I would have to repeat a single section multiple times, and it was always because of some obstacle or puzzle that would force me back over something incredibly stupid. There are things throughout the game that will also instantly kill you or force you back to the beginning of a section. This can have you lingering in areas for an extended period of time, which is not that fun. As much as I love many things about this game, this is the one aspect about it that I cannot stand at all.
Ares!
The sky split apart, and the god of war stepped through. Descending from Olympus, he saw the makings of a god in a mere mortal. Ares would save Kratos. He would turn him into the perfect warrior his servant on Earth.